Well, in just a few short weeks, ladies and gentlemen, the Black and Gold brand will be closing its doors for the final time. NXT TakeOver the End is right around the corner. However, we still got a few more episodes of NXT, the bi-weekly delight, left to get through. We got this episode, then we've got the final episode, which will be the next edition of NXT. However, we still got a lot of action to get through. How are you all doing? My name is Dominic, of course, behind the commentary table. And we are live and sold out as always right here in Orlando, Florida, Full Sail University. You are not going to want to miss this night of action. And we're kicking it off with that woman right there, taking on Paige. And as Rhea Ripley makes her way to the ring here tonight, we know that tonight has a lot of implications for that NXT TakeOver the End card, because you see, tonight we'll be seeing the semifinals for the Bianca Belair Invitational Tournament. First off, we got this matchup, Rhea Ripley versus Paige. And then, following this, we have Maryse versus Mia Yim. Okay, it's going to be a big-time fight here in NXT. However, any combination of those four women could lead to amazing results. Who will be fighting Bianca Belair at the final NXT TakeOver and at NXT TakeOver the End? Well, there you have it. Okay, the current tournament standings. Rhea Ripley versus Paige, and Mia Yim versus Maryse. A lot of history between Yim and Maryse. More on that later. Rhea Ripley, however, a very new face to the Black and Gold brand. Okay, here in NXT, Rhea Ripley, she's only had one other matchup, and that was to enter this tournament. This is the Invitational Tournament. Anybody from Raw, SmackDown, NXT, or anybody around the world could have joined this tournament. Rhea Ripley saw it as an opportunity and decided to join and perhaps go on to fight at the final NXT event. However, Paige begs to differ. Okay, she is a long-standing competitor here in NXT. You never want to overlook her. Sure, her win-loss record here in NXT isn't particularly the best, but you do not want to overlook Paige. I cannot stress that enough, as Paige pushes Rhea Ripley into the corner. Oh, and then a cheap shot right to the face. I will say this. Rhea Ripley definitely has the power advantage. Paige, perhaps the technical. As we kick off this edition of NXT, you want to talk about technical wrestlers, however, in a few moments after this matchup, with a punch right to the face. After this matchup, we'll be hearing from the current NXT Tag Team Champions following their massive victory on the last edition of NXT, beating Bobby Lashley and Lio Rush for the NXT Tag Team titles, retaining their championships. What will they have to say? We're going to have to find out as Rhea Ripley bounces Paige off the ropes and, oh my god, sends her crashing into the air. And as I mentioned before, Rhea Ripley perhaps having the power advantage. And Rhea Ripley shows it off there, and now Rhea Ripley here tonight, going after Paige. Okay, taunting the crowd perhaps. She wants to send a message. Sure, she may not win this. She may not win this tournament. Rhea Ripley understands that that is a possibility. However, Rhea Ripley also knows this. This is her one chance at a spotlight. Only at one count there. This is her one chance at a spotlight in the biggest promotion on the planet. And right now, Rhea Ripley, takes her down there and goes for the cover now. 1, 2. No, and only a 2 count. Paige not looking too good. Rolls out of the ring. Smart strategy indeed. Okay, Paige now deciding to enter the ring once again. Stares at Rhea. Has her here. Suplex position. No, but Rhea Ripley immediately gets out of it. Oh, and then she takes her down there. I've heard a lot of comparisons between Rhea Ripley and the newest member of the Raw roster, Charlotte Flair. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is a high bar. 1, 2. No, and only a 2 count. Is a high bar set due to that comparison between Rhea Ripley and the Queen Charlotte Flair following that devastating powerbomb. Just the raw power of Rhea Ripley is incredible. However, right now, Paige, 1, 2. No, and only a 2 count. Sees an opportunity. Rhea Ripley perhaps getting into her head a bit much there. Okay, her ego perhaps inflating a bit too much. However, Paige right now takes her down with a headlock there. And now she's not done it, and a drop kick right to the top of the back. Okay, Rhea Ripley perhaps feeling a bit too cocky. Paige taking advantage, catching her in the suplex. And oh, look at this. Paige perhaps being the cocky one now. Mimicking the taunt that Rhea Ripley performed just a few moments ago that led to Paige gaining control in this matchup. And now Rhea Ripley gets up, looking to take advantage of Paige's own ego. However, right now Paige, turns it around into a backbreaker. Oh god, but then Rhea Ripley, incredible speed by this woman, runs into Paige, immediate takedown, sending her crashing to the mat with that devastating spear. However, right now Paige with a kick right to the stomach, and then a back elbow for good measure. Paige now on a bit of a roll. She has to continue it. She seems to have something big in mind. Paige now. Oh, and the dive to the outside. Suicide dive by Paige, seemingly out of nowhere, throwing her to the outside, throwing her back into the ring. Perhaps seeing this as an opportunity for victory. Goes for the cover. 1, 2. No, and only a 2 count. One of these two women will go on to face either Mia Yim or Maurice. Oh, on the next episode, on the last episode of NXT, Paige looking to make sure that it's her. Because right now, oh god, Rhea Ripley not in a good predicament there as Paige connects, goes for the cover. 1, 2. No, and only a 2 count following a Frankensteiner off the top turnbuckle there. The Hurricane Rana connecting, but it doesn't get the job done. And Paige now looks down at Rhea Ripley, trying to think of what to do, trying to think, how the hell do I beat Rhea Ripley? Oh, as Rhea Ripley with a kick right to the stomach. But Paige mimics that kick with another one of her own. Now back and forth between these two women here. Rhea Ripley and Paige battling right now, all for a chance to make history, to battle at the final NXT TakeOver event as Paige connects with the dropkick. There you see Paige saying perhaps it's all over. Perhaps Paige thinking about how to conclude this matchup and go on to face off against Bianca Belair, the undefeated Bianca Belair here in NXT. But Paige gets thrown to the outside. Rhea Ripley goes for a punch. She gets caught with a forearm strike. And now Paige, who's been on a bit of a roll throughout this entire matchup. Oh! Hits with the Hurricane Rana. Rolls into the cover here. 1, 2. No, and only a 2 count. Paige practically leaping across the ring in order to achieve, well, in her mind, what could have been success with that out of nowhere pinfall predicament. As now, oh my god, damn near kicking her head off does Rhea Ripley with that big boot. As Rhea Ripley now sees this as an opportunity, goes for some sort of a forearm strike instead. Paige goes for a kick of her own. And now Paige, goes for a running attack. Rhea Ripley, sends her into the corner. And oh my god, goes for the big boot into the corner. However, Paige counters with a kick right to that same leg. However, Rhea Ripley now counters, kicks her in the stomach. Oh, and the Riptide connecting by Rhea out of nowhere. 1, 2, 3, and it's over. Rhea Ripley moving on in the tournament out of nowhere, connecting with that Riptide on Paige. Okay, but Paige put on a hell of a fight, pulling no punches indeed. The dive to the outside, the Hurricane Rana off the top. Paige, absolutely tremendous job in this one. However, Rhea Ripley just out of nowhere, hitting that devastating Riptide to get the job done. Rhea Ripley will go on to fight on the next episode of NXT. Who will she be battling? Will it be Mia Yim or Maurice? We're going to find that out later. But there you see Rhea Ripley getting a massive victory here in NXT. Definitely using the black and gold brand as a massive spotlight for her career, definitely using it as an absolutely massive opportunity. However, if you want to talk about massive opportunities, look no further than tonight's main event. Both men, Keith Lee and Andrade Cien Almas, are coming into this one, coming into NXT here tonight with a message to prove. Andrade Cien Almas beating Cedric Alexander on the last episode of NXT. Keith Lee going on to fight at NXT TakeOver the End for the NXT Championship. However, right now, let's turn our attention to the NXT Tag Team Champions, British Strong Style, Tyler Bate and Pete Dunne. Okay, these two men have just taken NXT by storm. The tag division in NXT has just been completely trampled by British Strong Style. They've beaten practically everybody here in NXT. Oh my, no. Oh my God, ladies and gentlemen, from Monday Night Raw, sure there may be no competition in NXT, but these two men look to beg to differ. Former NXT Championship contenders, Rowe on the right, Hanson on the left, one of the most exhilarating tag teams to ever grace a professional wrestling ring. It's none other than the War Raiders. And it seems as though they may be answering the call. Pete Dunne and Tyler Bate saying that there's no competition left for them here. Well, it seems as though there you see, those two men are looking for some competition here. Hanson and Rowe staring down Tyler Bate and Pete Dunne here. Perhaps having a few choice words there. Well, this crowd, yes, chanting to the idea, and ladies and gentlemen, I cannot help but agree with them. And Pete Dunne and Tyler Bate both saying, come on, let's do this. Oh, well, there you have it. Pete Dunne and Tyler Bate saying that we accept. It seems as though sometime these two teams will collide in the ring for the NXT Tag Team titles. Hanson and Rowe are the next challengers. However, ladies and gentlemen, as the crowd celebrates due to that massive announcement, I want to turn your attention to something that will happen earlier tonight. You see, we don't particularly show you guys the dark matches before the show, and I don't mean to turn this into a bit of a somber tone. However, Becky Lynch, she had a dark match returning to NXT. Okay, upper management just wanted to see if she was indeed fit to compete, and she went toe-to-toe against a local competitor named Josie Jane, and well, let's just say she was a bit ferocious, a bit more violent than usual. Okay, Becky Lynch, sure, she's a very, tough competitor. However, what she did to Josie Jane earlier on was, in my opinion, a bit much. Okay, you can kind of see her using the environment, throwing her into the posts, into the steel steps. Okay, ever since that attack by Io Shirai, it seems as though Becky Lynch has just been fueled with so much anger, and tonight it seems as though Josie Jane, before the show even started, was a victim of that anger. Okay, the NXT Women's Champion even going so far, as you can see, as she goes underneath the ring, even so far as to grabbing a steel chair and attacking Josie Jane. Now, we weren't particularly scheduled to hear from Becky Lynch here tonight. However, later on, Becky Lynch, she went backstage and she said that she had something to say. And it seems as though that's exactly what we're going to be hearing. Okay, Becky Lynch, what will she have to say later on tonight? The NXT Women's Champion, definitely filled with a lot more hatred than usual. However, right now, ladies and gentlemen, it is time to turn our attention back to that Bianca Belair Invitational Tournament. Okay, we know that Rhea Ripley will be going on to the finals. However, who will she fight off against? Will it be Maryse, the woman on the right, or will it be her opponent, Mia Yim? Okay, this matchup has a lot of history leading into it. Of course, Mia Yim was attacked by the then debuting Totally Beautiful stable. Okay, it was a one-on-one match between Mia Yim and Mandy Rose. Okay, seemed to be pretty normal until the ending where Maryse and Dana Brooke came out here and attacked Mia Yim. And ever since then, Mia Yim and these three women have seemingly been on and off feud. But tonight, Mia Yim is looking to perhaps conclude the feud as NXT looks to conclude and close its doors in just a few short weeks. Right now, Mia Yim, she's in here for a fight, and she's going to be getting it against Maryse. Okay, this is all about who is better. This is all about who can go on to face off against Bianca Belair, a woman that Mia Yim has a lot of history with. A lot of history with. Okay, you talk about Bianca Belair, you can barely talk about Belair without mentioning the epic feud that she has had with Mia Yim. And right now, Mia Yim is looking to continue that feud at the conclusion of this one as a slap to the face and another one. And here we go, Mia Yim, the textbook and expert strikes by Mia Yim. And oh wait, there you see Maryse immediately running to the outside, and hell, I can't blame her. Okay, perhaps getting taken a bit off guard after laughing in the face of Mia Yim. And there you see Yim say, come on, get back into this ring, I dare you. And that's exactly what Maryse seemingly is doing right now. She has to get into the ring to perhaps win this matchup, to perhaps go on to that final NXT TakeOver event. And now goes for the cover here out of nowhere. 1, 2. No, and only a 2 count there, trying to roll up into a victory perhaps. Mia Yim, however, kicks out. Oh, goes for a running kick. Maryse catches her. What is this? Has her up on the shoulders. Look at the raw power taking her down there. Face first goes Mia Yim. Mia, the woman in the blue hair. Maryse, the blonde. And right now, these two women, oh, with a punch right to the back, are only focused on the EST of NXT, the undefeated Bianca Belair. That's exactly what both women want on their plates in a few weeks at NXT TakeOver the End. Mia Yim, in my opinion, a very, very excellent combatant. However, you gotta think that the numbers game of Totally Beautiful will definitely play a factor in this one. We already seen it. Maryse running to the outside, having her protection. Dana Brooke and Mandy Rose on the outside, keeping Mia Yim away. As there you see just Maryse bouncing Yim's head off the top turnbuckle, and Mia is not looking too good in this matchup. As Maryse now seems to have something in mind. Russian leg sweep there. Beautifully executed. Goes for a stomp. Mia Yim counters. Goes for a running kick once again. And just like earlier on, countering it. Oh, with that feat of strength. Lifting her up on her shoulders before driving her face first into the mat. And now Mia Yim is definitely not looking good. Maurice seemingly has full control. However, Yim, oh my god, what a spinning back fist. And right now, Mia Yim looking to gain control here in this one. Oh, but Maurice stops her there. Mia Yim with a flurry of strikes. And now, wait a second. Mia has her up. Oh, and it connects. Beautiful powerbomb there. 1, 2. No, only a 2 count. Picture perfect, but the picture does not read Mia Yim versus Rhea Ripley, at least not yet. As Rhea Ripley and Bianca Belair, somewhere perhaps backstage or at Belair's home, must be watching this one. Of course, I'm not assuming that Rhea Ripley is at her home, but hey, you never know. As right now, Maurice gets sent into the corner, and then the running big boot connecting face first. In the corner is now, wait a second, well there you see Mandy Rose and Dana Brooke having a few choice words for Mia Yim. Mia Yim turns her back on Maurice. 1, 2, that might be her downfall, or perhaps not, as Maurice tries to go for a potential victory out of nowhere. And right now, Mia Yim is still battling. As Maurice, oh, gets a big slap to the face. Oh, goes for a kick, and instead, Mia Yim takes her down. And now Mia Yim picks her right back up. Seems to have something in mind here. Goes for another strike, but instead she gets a kick right to the stomach. Oh, but now Mia Yim strikes back with a kick of her own right to the gut of Maurice. And now, oh, wait a second, Maurice. Oh, Maurice! Protect your neck out of nowhere by Mia. 1, 2, 3. And Mia Yim out of nowhere gets her victory here and sets course for the last ever episode of NXT. It's going to be Mia Yim versus Rhea Ripley. Okay, what a match that is set to be. One of those two women will be going on to NXT TakeOver the End. Will it be the new rising star in NXT, Rhea Ripley, or will it be the woman that has dealt with so much history between herself and Bianca Belair? Who will be going on to NXT TakeOver the End? Will it be Mia Yim or Rhea Ripley? Only one way to find out. Tune in to the last ever episode of NXT as Mia Yim celebrates. Dana Brooke and Mandy Rose definitely displeased by the outcome of that matchup. However, right now, let's turn our attention to Becky Lynch. Well, as you just heard, ladies and gentlemen, NXT TakeOver the End is slowly but surely becoming the biggest card in NXT history, as Becky Lynch will be facing off against Io Shirai in a no-holds-barred match for the NXT Women's Championship. However, who will be facing off against Bianca Belair at that event? Will it be Rhea Ripley or Mia Yim? The finals of the Invitational Tournament conclude on the next episode of NXT, on the last episode of NXT, okay? Because next episode, it is indeed the final edition of NXT before NXT TakeOver the End. I guarantee you, it's going to be historical, it's going to be memorable, and you're not going to want to miss it. However, that does not mean that we have to have a somber tone going into our main event of the evening. It's set to be, if nothing else, epic. As there you see him, the #1 contender for the NXT Championship, the man who will be facing up against Velveteen Dream for the title in NXT's final NXT Championship matchup. It's going to be Velveteen Dream versus that man, the Limitless. The one who has taken the entire NXT and professional wrestling world by storm since debuting here on the Black and Gold brand. Okay, he has beaten everybody in his way thus far. It is Keith Lee. Will he be able to defeat his opponent tonight? Well, we're going to have to find out, as Keith Lee is going up against the first ever NXT champion, Andrade Cien Almas. Now you gotta think, if Keith Lee were to win his match at NXT TakeOver, not saying it's gonna be easy, and quite frankly, in all honesty, Velveteen Dream could beat that man Keith Lee. Sure, he may be limitless, but he is not undefeatable. Okay? Keith Lee, if he were to, however, win that NXT championship, then in hindsight, you might think of this matchup as the first ever NXT champion versus the last ever NXT champion. However, Keith Lee, he cannot focus on that potential title victory. He cannot focus on the potential loss at NXT TakeOver the End. He has to focus on tonight. He has to focus on that man, Andrade Cien Almas, and of course, the lovely Zelina Vega, always at ringside during his matches. Okay, Andrade Cien Almas, he's riding a bit of momentum right now following his win against Cedric Alexander in that truly unforgettable and epic clash between Cedric and Andrade on the last episode of NXT. Very back and forth indeed. Okay, he didn't even beat him with his own finishing maneuver. No, instead, a Frankensteiner off the top, sending Cedric Alexander into the mat. Andrade Cien Almas, he got the job done then. Will he be able to do it here tonight? Okay, Cedric Alexander just passing out due to exhaustion. Passing out due to the just bits and bruises that he already suffered throughout the course of that epic matchup. But right now, Andrade Cien Almas, he's going to have to think of a different type of game plan. He does not want to be in this matchup very long with Keith Lee, because Keith Lee, we've seen it, okay? Sure, he may get beaten down, but he always gets back up. He needs to somehow think, Andrade needs to somehow think about how to defeat the limitless Keith Lee. Perhaps he has a strategy, or perhaps he's just going to have to rely on his hard-hitting strikes, his incredible speed and agility, and most importantly, his unbelievable talent. Okay, there's a reason Andrade Cien Almas is the first ever NXT champion, and tonight he's going up against the next challenger for the NXT championship. It's our main event of the evening, Andrade Cien Almas versus Keith Lee. And as you can hear this crowd chanting NXT for the second to final episode, for the second to final main event of the Black and Gold brand, we get into it. Andrade Cien Almas, there you see, wagging his finger saying, "Nah, you ain't gonna beat me," as Andrade in the white, Keith Lee in the light blue in this one. With a big forearm strike by Andrade Cien Almas, goes for a knee. Keith Lee counters, however, has him, or perhaps not, as Andrade Cien Almas, wow, taking down Keith Lee with an arm drag. Okay, showing a lot of power, perhaps. Oh my god, and then a lot more power, perhaps, in that forearm strike. Absolutely brutal. However, he ain't done, as he goes for a running strike. A running kick, perhaps, but now instead, choke slam into the knee by Keith Lee. And that's what you gotta watch out for by Keith Lee. Sure, he's incredibly powerful. Sure, he's incredibly agile, but most importantly, his moveset is incredibly unique. Okay, you've never met a man who can do the things that Keith Lee can do ever in your life unless you've met Keith Lee before. However, right now, Andrade Cien Almas, he's incredibly intelligent. He needs to use that intelligence to take down Keith Lee. And there you see, using his own size, using his own agility to his favor. 1, 2. No, and only a 2 count. Taking down Keith Lee with that DDT off the middle turnbuckle. Smart strategy to use that, to his advantage before a boot right to the face. He has to make sure Keith Lee does not get up. Okay, if I was Andrade Cien Almas, I would try to make sure that Keith Lee stays on the mat, stays down, because the moment he gets up, he knows that Keith Lee can somehow gain an advantage. As Andrade Cien Almas perhaps not even listening to me right now. He's too focused on the matchup. Smart play indeed. As Andrade Cien Almas picks up Keith Lee, and there you see Keith Lee with the punch, and that's exactly what I'm talking about. The moment Keith Lee gets up, he can, wait a second, oh my god, takes him down. Oh god, and then a clubbing forearm right to the back of the head. Keith Lee countering him there, taking down Andrade. As Almas gets sent into the corner there, but nobody home. Andrade, quick as a cat, moves out of the way. Keith Lee sending himself into the corner. Chokeslam once again, perhaps. But this time Andrade Cien Almas counters. That's exactly what Andrade Cien Almas needs to keep doing. He needs to keep countering these incredibly unique moves by Keith Lee. He needs to somehow figure out a way to get out of every potentially dangerous situation, as Keith Lee gets a big slap to the chest, and then those kicks by Andrade. And now, perhaps setting up for those running knees. Strikes, or perhaps not. And Andrade Cien Almas, there you see, look at that, the cocky attitude. Just slapping him in the face, showing complete and utter disrespect to Keith Lee. As now he goes up top. No! God, goes for that moonsault, but Keith Lee gets the knees up. And perhaps Andrade Cien Almas should have hit that running knee strike instead of just disrespecting him with that forearm strike, and then sends him into the air, and you can hear the crowd bask in his glory chants indeed, and that's exactly what Andrade Cien Almas is doing, basking in the glory of Keith Lee in the next challenger for the NXT Championship. As Andrade, wait a second, goes for a cover here. 1, 2, no, and only a 2 count, trying to get a quick victory, perhaps trying to earn a win over the next challenger, the #1 contender for the NXT Championship. Oh god, and he takes him down with that suplex. As Keith Lee, wait a second, oh my god. Andrade Cien Almas rolling out of dodge there, but he couldn't dodge that man. This behemoth of a man flying into the air. And now Andrade goes up onto the apron. Keith Lee seems to have something in mind, but Andrade Cien Almas kicks him off. As now Andrade, what is this? Bounces off the ropes! Oh my god! And the agility by both men, absolutely outstanding. And now Andrade, once again, the ball is in his court. As now, with a stomp there, right to the back of, oh my god, of Keith Lee before the little drop kick right to the head of Keith Lee. As now, a punch right to the face. And another chop right to the chest. And these kicks again. And Andrade Cien Almas seemingly becoming a bit more angry. Goes for the running knees this time. However, instead he gets a big boot right to the face, right to the skull of Andrade. And these two men going to war here tonight in NXT. And Keith Lee sees this as an opportunity, or perhaps not Andrade. Oh god, wait a second, oh my god! Andrade being sent into the air with that pounce by Keith Lee, using his size and power advantage to just launch Andrade. My god, however, Keith Lee, he ain't looking so good. Andrade Cien Almas is fighting. Andrade Cien Almas is fighting. And then a kick there. Keith Lee countering whatever Andrade had in mind, but Andrade now being just pushed to the ground there by Keith Lee, okay? Perhaps showing off his power, and Andrade, you can see it all over his face, He's feeling a bit more pissed off. He's feeling a bit more angry here. And once again, Keith Lee is set up in the corner. Because now, oh my God, Andrade showing off one hell of a feat of strength. And perhaps looking to finish this matchup like that Cedric Alexander. Like that, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God! Spirit Bomb off the top by Keith Lee! Out of nowhere, 2, 3, and this one's over. Oh my God! Andrade Cien Almas looking to finish off this matchup just like how he finished his match against Cedric Alexander with that top rope Hurricane Rana, and instead, Andrade Cien Almas gets the job done against Keith Lee. Absolutely. An absolute battle, an absolute war between these two men, showing off both their high-flying antics, their incredible will to succeed, but in the end, Keith Lee, here you can see it, that Spirit Bomb off the top turnbuckle. And Keith Lee now celebrates the victory. Oh, wait a second. Well, there you see him, the NXT champion, Velveteen Dream, the man who will battle Keith Lee at NXT TakeOver the End. Andrade Cien Almas nowhere in sight after that devastating Spirit Bomb off the top, but right now Keith Lee is more focused on the NXT champion. The very flamboyant, the very unique Velveteen Dream coming out here in all purple, but right now the color that both men are concerned with is gold. The NXT title that Velveteen Dream currently possesses. As right now, these two men sharing a few words. Keith Lee saying to enter the ring. Velveteen Dream gets off the apron and decides against it. What is going to happen when these two men collide at NXT TakeOver the End? Only one way to find out. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for watching this episode of NXT.